Hello everyone and welcome to another new editing style video, this time with no fancy drawing or billboard illustrations to go along with it. This is Alrav from Quebec, Canada, the author and creator of Algatraz le Protecteur / Algatraz le Protecteur. As always, you can find all about my comic book works on my Substack. That said, this particular video for today is centered about the subject of the reality of being a comic book creator and the challenge that's set to be in three parts. So there is the red pill, the black pill, and the white pill, and obviously there are no blue pill, because if there were, I would be lying to you, so that's why there are none. So this is an analogy that's loosely based on the Matrix movies, which are famous because of that. So each of these pills consist of the different phase or trials that comic book creators have to face when they jump into the domain. And so that's the reason I'm going to be looking at each one of these individually to share a bit some of the wisdom and the realities that go behind them and how to work around it. So without any further delay, I'm going to be getting into it, starting with the red pill, as seen here. So what can be said about this one? The harsh reality number one is that most comic book creators, especially outside a big market, they don't make money, or not a lot of money, at least not enough to sustain themselves. So most of the money comes from the shiny multimedia adaptations, such as the movies, the television shows, and even the video games in some instance. If you're lucky, you might get into a point where you'll be approached by, let's say, a producer that's working for one of these big corporations, who is going to come up and give you, let's say, a big pile of money in exchange for the right to adapt your work into their big blockbuster machines or their streaming platforms or whatever it is. And in those instances, you might face the dilemma between either allowing them to do it as they please and ending up with, let's say, a poor adaptation of your work, or try to control and micromanage as much of the adaptation as possible and ending up with nothing. So that's the first reality that comic book creators will have to face if they do get into the domain. So now the second phase has to be the black pill phase, and this one, the harsh reality with it is that no matter how good or bad the circumstances in your life are, making comic books is a perpetual, never-ending grind. You'll be grinding forever with diminishing returns over time. So it is worth note that in American logic, the first issues of a particular IP or character are always the one that sells the most. But as you move toward number 2 and number 3 and number 4 and so on and forth, there is a steady progressive decline until you're left with, let's say, a fraction of the readership that you've had with the first issue. And these will be the hardcore fans that will stick with your work, and there might only be a few hundred or a few thousand of these people at most. If you're lucky, you might get into a point where you'll reach a big milestone numbers, such as, let's say, number 25, number 50, or even number 100. In those instances, you might get a small boost in readership, but after those events, those milestone issues take place, you'll be back to the continual grinding with the established fan base that you already have, and it might not be enough to sustain. So you'll never have enough time or enough money to do any of all the stories that you want to make, and that's the black pill moment. That said, whenever there is darkness, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, And that's where I'm going to be ending up with the white pill. Now, the reason for that one, the big wisdom to get is that if you look at the success stories of comic book creators, the writers and artists, or both at the same time, the authors, the successful names aren't necessarily the ones that are the best at their craft or anything like that. In fact, they don't even need to be good to get into the domain, but they tend to be the creators or the co-creators of beloved characters or IPs or even standalone masterpieces that makes people know them simply because of their association with said work, and that's how you make your name within the realm of comic book and stuff. So if all you do is, let's say, work on an established character like, let's say, a Batman or a Spider-Man or anything like that, you may get to a point where you're good at drawing or writing these particular characters, but if you only do that, you'll never really be great because you'll only be doing what other people already did and a lot of time as well. So that's the reason the only way to be a really great creator is to create something brand new and something that comes from within, not just any random, but creating your own stuff and sharing it. And because that's how you're going to make your name in this particular field. And that's also true. So after that, there are other things to be considered. So for instance, you do have people that are going to be known for mainly their comic book works, and they might get the chance to see their work adapted, while for authors, they might have to wait until they get adapted for people to actually start reading their works. And regardless of what their role is, the characters and the IPs themselves, they have to be the priority, the center stage, and this is the one thing that keeps people going even when nobody reads or talk about your works. And that's the last but the biggest of the harsh realities that comic book creators will be facing as they get into the domain. And that's it for today's video, folks. So let me know what you think in the commentary section below. And as always, look forward to all the Alcatraz the Protector / Alcatraz the Protector stuff on my Substack. With that being said, thanks for watching, and we'll see one another very soon. Enjoy the reading.